In a galaxy far away, there existed a vast and mysterious expanse known as the Void. This dark region of space was filled with strange energies and chaotic storms. Many ships that dared to enter the Void were lost forever. Alien civilizations nearby spoke in hushed tones about the dangers lurking within. They believed that the Void was cursed, a place where nightmares came alive. Among these civilizations was a group of aliens called the Traylons. They were tall and slender, with shimmering blue skin and large, expressive eyes. For centuries, the Traylons had thrived on their home planet, Quorax, where they built magnificent cities and explored the stars. However, the fear of the Void loomed over them like a dark cloud. Many Traylons had witnessed their friends and family vanish into the darkness, never to return. The leader of the Traylons, a wise elder named Zorak, often gathered his people to warn them about the Void. "Stay away from that cursed place," he would shout, his voice echoing through the crowded halls of their council chamber. "It is a trap that swallows ships whole. Anyone who enters will never come back." His words struck fear into the hearts of the Traylons. They nodded in agreement, fearful of the unknown. One day, a human exploration team arrived in the Quorax system. The team was led by Captain Lisa, a daring and adventurous woman known for her bravery. She had heard stories of the Void and was determined to uncover its secrets. With her crew of skilled astronauts, they landed their sleek starship, the Endeavor, on Quorax. The Traylons were curious but wary. They watched as the humans stepped out of their ship, their faces filled with excitement and wonder. Captain Lisa addressed the gathered Traylons, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "We come in peace! We want to explore the Void and learn from it." The Traylons exchanged glances, unsure of what to think. How could these humans be so bold? Didn't they know the dangers? Zorak stepped forward, his expression stern. "You do not understand. The Void is a place of death. Many ships have vanished without a trace. We have lost too many. You must not enter." His warning hung in the air, heavy with fear. But Lisa smiled confidently. "I know the risks, but we have technology that can help us navigate the Void safely. We can teach you how to ride the waves of energy that flow through it." Her words sparked curiosity among the younger Traylons, who had always dreamt of adventure beyond their planet. As Zorak listened, he felt a mix of hope and fear. He had spent his life warning his people about the dangers of the Void, yet here were these humans, full of confidence and a thirst for knowledge. Could it be that they had found a way to conquer the Void? Meanwhile, a young Traylon named Lyra, who had always been fascinated by stories of exploration, felt a pull toward the humans. She stepped forward, her heart racing. "I want to learn," she said boldly. The crowd gasped. Lyra was known for her bravery, but this was different. She was defying the long-held beliefs of her people. Zorak was taken aback. "Lyra, you must not! The Void is too dangerous," he pleaded, but she shook her head, determination in her eyes. "If we do not try, we will never know. I want to see what lies beyond our fears." With Lyra's unexpected courage, a ripple of excitement spread among the Traylons. Maybe there was hope after all. If humans could teach them to face their fears, perhaps they could learn to surf the Void instead of fearing it. The thought was exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. As night fell on Quorax, the stars shone brightly overhead. Captain Lisa, Lyra, and a few brave Traylons gathered at the edge of the Void, ready to take their first step into the unknown. They looked out at the dark expanse where countless stars twinkled like diamonds. The air was thick with anticipation. Together they would face the Void and perhaps learn to surf it. In that moment, hope replaced fear. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but it was a journey they were ready to embark on together. The Void awaited, and so did the secrets it held. The next day, the sun rose brightly over Quorax, casting a warm glow on the alien landscape. Captain Lisa and her crew prepared for their first venture into the Void. The excitement among the humans was palpable, but the Traylons felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation. They had never been this close to the mysterious darkness that had haunted their species for generations. As they gathered by the Endeavor, Lisa stood confidently in front of the small group of Traylons. Beside her, Lyra looked eager but nervous, her heart racing at the thought of stepping into the Void. Lisa could sense the tension in the air and decided it was time to extend an invitation to the Traylons. "Today we begin our journey into the Void," she announced, her voice ringing with excitement. "But I want to invite all of you to join us. Together, we can learn to navigate this place safely. You don't have to face this alone." The Traylons exchanged worried glances, their fear evident. Zorak stepped forward, his tall figure imposing. "Captain, I must remind you of the danger. Many have tried to enter the void, and they never returned. Our people believe it is a cursed place," he said, his voice steady but filled with concern. Lisa nodded, understanding the weight of Zorak's words. "I respect your fear, but I promise you, we have the technology and knowledge to teach you how to ride the waves of energy in the void. If we face this together, we can overcome our fears," she said, her eyes sparkling with conviction. Lyra, standing beside Lisa, felt a spark of courage ignite within her. "We cannot let fear hold us back," she exclaimed. "If we learn from the humans, we can change our fate. I believe there's more to the void than just danger." Zorak looked at Lyra, torn between his duty as a leader and the spark of hope his young charge had ignited. "Lyra, you are brave, but this is no small task. The void has taken too much from us," he cautioned, his voice softening. "But what if we could learn to master it? What if the void can become our ally instead of our enemy?" Lyra argued, her passion shining through. The other Traylons began to murmur among themselves, their interest piqued. Could they truly conquer the void? Lisa noticed the change in the crowd's demeanor. "Let's start with a simple experiment," she suggested. "We will not enter the void just yet. Instead, we will demonstrate our technology and how it works. You can see for yourselves that it is not as terrifying as you think." Reluctantly, Zorak agreed. "Very well. We will watch, but we will not join you today," he declared. Lisa smiled, appreciating the Traylons' cautious approach. She understood their fear, but believed that the more they saw, the more they would trust her. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the land, Lisa and her crew prepared for their demonstration. They boarded the Endeavor and activated the ship's engines. With a soft hum, the starship rose into the air, climbing higher until it hovered above the ground. From this vantage point, the Traylons gasped as they watched the ship. Lisa activated the ship's surfing technology, which created a shimmering wave of energy around the Endeavor. With a swift motion, the ship dove into the void, gliding effortlessly over the energy waves. Lyra's eyes widened with awe. "Look, they're riding it!" she exclaimed, pointing toward the ship as it danced gracefully among the chaotic currents. The other Traylons watched in amazement as Lisa and her crew maneuvered through the void, their ship moving with a fluidity that seemed impossible. After a few minutes of breathtaking maneuvers, the Endeavor emerged from the void, returning to the ground. Lisa and her crew stepped out, beaming with joy. The demonstration had been a success. Zorak, visibly impressed, looked at Lisa. "You have shown us something remarkable today," he admitted. "Perhaps there is more to the void than we realized." Lyra stepped forward, her heart racing with hope. "If we learn together, we can conquer our fears and explore the void. We can become more than just survivors. We can become adventurers." The atmosphere shifted as the Traylons began to feel a sense of possibility. Zorak nodded slowly, understanding that fear could be replaced with courage through knowledge and teamwork. "Perhaps we will join you after all," he said, a smile breaking through his serious demeanor. "Let us learn to surf the void together." With that, a new chapter began for the Traylons, one filled with hope and adventure. The void, once a place of terror, was now a realm of opportunity waiting to be explored. The following day dawned clear and bright on Quarax. Excitement buzzed in the air as Captain Lisa and her crew prepared for the next step, teaching the Traylons how to surf the void. The Traylons gathered at the landing site, their eyes wide with curiosity and a hint of nervousness. Today would be the day they faced their fears head-on. As the Traylons approached the Endeavor, Lisa welcomed them with a warm smile. "Today you will learn how to navigate the void safely," she announced, her voice filled with enthusiasm. Lyra stood beside her, beaming with anticipation. The young Traylon had been practicing her breathing exercises, trying to calm her nerves. Zorak, still cautious but hopeful, nodded in approval. "We are ready to learn, Captain. But please remember, this is new for us," he said, looking at the group of Traylons behind him. They were a mix of brave and anxious, but they all shared a glimmer of hope. "Absolutely. We will take it slow," Lisa replied, reassuring them. "The first step is to understand the energy waves in the void. Each wave has its own rhythm, just like the ocean. If you learn to ride it, you can travel safely." The crew of the Endeavor began demonstrating the equipment they had brought. Each Traylon received a small, sleek device that they would use to ride the energy waves. It looked like a surfboard, but had glowing patterns that pulsed with energy. Lyra was eager to try her board first. "I want to go first!" she exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. Lisa chuckled at her enthusiasm and nodded. "All right, Lyra, you can be our first rider." Lyra climbed onto her board, her heart racing. She felt the energy coursing through the device, warming her skin. With a gentle push from Lisa, Lyra was off, gliding smoothly toward the edge of the void. As she entered the darkness, the Traylons held their breath, watching in awe. Lyra felt a rush of exhilaration as she caught her first wave. The energy surrounded her, lifting her higher and higher. She laughed with joy, feeling free and alive. "This is amazing!" she shouted, her voice echoing back to the waiting crowd. Zorak watched with a mix of pride and concern. His heart raced as he saw Lyra embrace the void. She was defying everything they had been taught, and yet, here she was, thriving in a place that had once filled them with fear. After a few minutes, Lyra returned, her face glowing with happiness. "It's incredible! You have to try it!" she urged the others. Slowly, one by one, the Traylons stepped up, each feeling a mix of excitement and fear. Zorak took a deep breath. "I will go next," he announced, surprising everyone. The leader of the Traylons had always been the most cautious. As he climbed onto his board, the crowd watched silently. With a gentle push, Zorak soared into the void. For a moment, he felt his heart race with fear. But then, he found his balance, riding the waves just as Lisa had shown him. Laughter erupted from the Traylons as they watched their leader navigate the chaos. "I can do this!" Zorak shouted, his voice filled with a mix of joy and disbelief. "The void is not as terrifying as we thought." His successful ride sparked a wave of courage among the other Traylons. One by one, they began to take their turns, each experience bringing them closer to overcoming their fears. The group cheered for each other, creating an atmosphere of excitement and support. They were no longer just a fearful community. They were adventurers discovering a new world together. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow across the landscape, the Traylons felt a profound change within themselves. They had faced the void and emerged victorious. The darkness that once haunted them had transformed into a playground of energy and possibility. After a long day of surfing the void, the Traylons and the humans gathered to celebrate. Lisa stood at the center, beaming with pride. "You all did amazing today. We have shown the void that we are not afraid." Lyra stepped forward, her voice filled with excitement. "Together we can explore further. Imagine what lies beyond this place." Her words sparked dreams of future adventures. Zorak nodded, feeling a new sense of hope. "Today we have not only learned to surf the void, but we have also learned to embrace the unknown. This is just the beginning!" As night fell, the stars twinkled above, and the group looked out at the endless expanse of the void, filled with anticipation for what lay ahead. Together, they had taken a giant leap, transforming fear into courage. The void was no longer a place of terror. It was a world of adventure waiting to be explored. As days passed, the Traylons grew bolder in the void. They practiced surfing daily, mastering the energy waves under Captain Lisa's guidance. Lyra, Zorak, and the rest of the crew became experts at navigating the chaos. The thrill of adventure replaced their old fears, and the bond between the humans and Traylons deepened. But not everyone was pleased with this newfound courage. A group of Traylons who still believed in the old ways watched from a distance, their faces twisted with anger and fear. They called themselves the Guardians of the Void and were determined to stop the humans and their influence over the Traylons. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the land, the Guardians confronted Zorak and Lyra. "You are foolish to trust the humans," shouted Calthar, the leader of the Guardians, his voice booming. "The void is dangerous. You risk everything by learning to surf it." Zorak stepped forward, his expression calm but firm. "We have faced the void and found strength in its waves. You only see fear because you refuse to face it." Lyra stood beside him, her heart racing. She had grown to love the thrill of the void, and she wouldn't let fear take that away. Calthar scoffed. "You think you can control the void? It has taken too many of our people. This is a mistake, and we will not let you lead our kind into danger." "Enough!" Lisa interrupted, stepping between them. "The void is not our enemy. It is a part of our universe, just like the sky or the sea. We are here to learn and share knowledge. Her words hung in the air, but the Guardians remained unmoved. Prove it! Calthar challenged, his eyes flashing with anger. We will have a contest. If you win, we will accept your ways. But if you lose, you must leave our planet and never return. Zorak glanced at Lisa, who nodded, her resolve strong. We accept your challenge, he declared. But we will compete on our terms. We will show you the true power of the void. The Guardians agreed, and soon the news spread across Quarax. The day of the great showdown was set, and everyone in the Traylan community was buzzing with excitement and fear. The tension was thick as both sides prepared for the contest. On the day of the showdown, a large crowd gathered by the edge of the void. The sun shone brightly, illuminating the faces of the anxious Traylans and humans. Lyra felt a mix of excitement and anxiety as she lined up beside Zorak and the other skilled surfers from the Endeavor. The contest would consist of 2 parts, a race through the void and a series of tricks showcasing their skills. The Traylans were determined to win, their hearts filled with pride and the fear of failure. The Guardians were confident, but deep down, they were scared of losing their way of life. As the race began, Zorak and Lyra took the lead, riding the waves with speed and grace. The energy surged beneath them, propelling them forward. The crowd erupted with cheers as they flew through the void, their movements fluid and synchronized. But Calthar was not far behind. He and his fellow Guardians pushed themselves to their limits, determined to prove the humans wrong. The race became a fierce battle of skill and determination, with each group striving to outdo the other. In the second part of the contest, it was time to showcase tricks. The humans demonstrated their unique abilities, flipping and spinning through the air with ease. Lyra performed a breathtaking maneuver, twisting and turning gracefully on her board, earning gasps of awe from the crowd. Calthar watched, his heart racing. He had to respond. With a fierce determination, he launched himself into the air, attempting a complex trick. But as he twisted, he misjudged the energy wave beneath him. He fell, crashing into the void. Gasps filled the air, and for a moment, time stood still. Zorak's heart raced with fear. "Calthar!" he shouted, ready to dive in after him. But Lisa was faster. She activated her board and rushed into the darkness, navigating the waves to reach the fallen Guardian. With skillful precision, she reached Calthar and pulled him to safety. He was shaken but unharmed. The crowd erupted into cheers, witnessing a moment of unity. Calthar looked at Lisa, realizing that her bravery and skill were not just about winning, they were about saving lives. As they returned to the surface, Calthar's expression softened. "Perhaps there is more to the void than I thought," he admitted, his voice shaky. The tension eased, and the crowd erupted in applause. The contest ended in a draw, but the true victory was the bridge built between the two groups. The Guardians began to see that the void was not just a source of fear, but a world of opportunity. The Great Showdown had not only tested their skills, but also opened their hearts to a new way of thinking. Together they were ready to explore the unknown, united by their courage and determination. The days following the Great Showdown brought a wave of change to Quarax. The Traylans and humans began to work together, their bond stronger than ever. Lyra, Zorak, and the rest of the crew from the Endeavor felt a sense of pride as they watched their 2 worlds blend into one. The first thing they did was build a community center near the edge of the void. This would be a place for learning and sharing knowledge about surfing the energy waves. Both humans and Traylans gathered daily to practice, laugh, and support each other. The fear that had once surrounded the void slowly faded, replaced by excitement and curiosity. One sunny morning, Lyra stood on the balcony of the new community center, looking out at the horizon. She felt a surge of happiness. The void, once seen as a dark and dangerous place, was now alive with the joy of surfing. "We did it, Zorak!" she exclaimed, turning to her friend. "Look how far we've come!" Zorak smiled, his heart full of hope. "Yes, we have changed the way our people see the void. It is no longer just a source of fear, it is a part of our future." He took a deep breath, feeling the energy around him. "But we must keep pushing forward. There is so much more to explore." As the weeks passed, the Traylans grew more skilled at surfing. They learned to read the waves and navigate the energy like never before. Lisa and her crew taught them advanced techniques, and soon Traylans began to perform impressive tricks and stunts. Lyra, in particular, became known for her incredible flips and graceful movements. One day, as the sun shone brightly, a group of Trailan children approached Lyra. "Can you teach us how to surf?" one of them asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Lyra knelt down, her heart swelling with joy. "Of course! Surfing is for everyone. Let's have some fun!" The children cheered, and Lyra led them to the edge of the void. She showed them how to balance on their boards and feel the energy beneath them. With every ride, their laughter echoed through the air, creating a new sound of hope and unity. Meanwhile, Calthar, the former leader of the Guardians, watched from a distance. He had been skeptical at first, but was now amazed by the changes taking place. He noticed how the community had transformed, how the fear had faded, and how everyone worked together to embrace the void. "Calthar!" Zorak called out, noticing him. "Come join us! We're teaching the kids how to surf." Calthar hesitated for a moment, but then nodded, walking toward the group. "Let me show you what I've learned," he said, climbing onto a board. The children cheered as he took off into the void. He felt the energy rush beneath him, and for the first time he felt a sense of freedom. After a few rides, Calthar returned, a smile stretching across his face. "I never thought I could enjoy the void like this. Thank you for showing me," he said, looking at Zorak and Lyra. The two friends exchanged glances, happy to see Calthar embrace the change. As summer rolled in, the first surfing festival was planned. The event aimed to celebrate the unity of the Trailans and humans and showcase their skills in surfing the void. Excitement filled the air as everyone prepared for the big day. Colorful banners were hung, and the sound of laughter and music echoed through the community. On the day of the festival, Trailans and humans gathered, their faces filled with joy. They cheered each other on as they performed tricks and raced through the void. The energy was electric, and for the first time it felt like they were one people, united in their love for adventure. Lyra and Zorak decided to perform a special routine together. They practiced for hours, determined to impress everyone. As they soared through the air, twisting and flipping, the crowd erupted into cheers. "This is amazing!" Lyra shouted as they landed perfectly. Zorak grinned, feeling the thrill of the moment. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the celebration, Calthar took the stage. "Today marks a new era for our people," he announced, his voice strong and confident. "We have faced our fears, and together we will continue to explore the void. Let us celebrate our friendship and the adventure that lies ahead." The crowd erupted into applause, and Lyra felt tears of joy in her eyes. They had come so far from the darkness of fear. The void was no longer a source of terror. It was a place of hope, adventure, and unity. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Lyra, Zorak, and their friends looked out at the vastness of the void, ready to embrace whatever came next. Together they had transformed fear into courage, and in doing so, they had created a new future for both humans and Trailans, a future filled with possibilities and endless adventures.